Welcome back to Mrs. P What Is for Tea. So we're just preparing to make meatloaf. What I've got there is 4 pounds of beef, 2 pounds of minced pork, 2 large sweet onions, I've got 3 peppers, I've got eggs, and I'm going to put porridge oats in it. If you were just making a basic meatloaf, you can just have the meat, a cup of porridge oats and 1 egg to every pound of meat, and you will end up with a meatloaf quite nicely. But we're adding some vegetables into the mix. So let's get cracking with the meatloaf. Okay, Mr. P has roughly chopped 3 peppers and 2 onions. We got this set of Joseph knives at Costco on our last visit, I think. And what we're going to do is we are going to put them through, we've got like a slicing machine. I'm going to put them through that and just to cut them down because I want them as fine as possible. Okay, I'm going to run these through the Tefal Fresh Express, and I am using the biggest grating tool. I'm just going to see how it goes. I just thought it'd be easier than attempting to chop it down. So you literally okay, that's not working, is it? Let's try it with the peppers. Okay, the best laid plans of mice and men. It's not working. So let's just take that out. Let's try it just with the peppers, see if it'll work with just the peppers. I can never remember how to put this darn thing back in again. Ah, there we go. Locked in. Let's see if it'll grate just the peppers, or if it's back to the chopping board. Mr. P will have to chop them. No, it's not working. Should I try a slice? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to try a slice instead. And just take that out. Well, sometimes I think it's as important to see what goes wrong as what goes right. And we both learn together, don't we? So I'm going to try the slicing blade, see if that works. And if not, I'm afraid Mr. P will be back to the drawing board, and you'll be chopping it with a knife. I'm going to say no, that's not successful. Okay. So we're going to abandon this idea and we're going to chop these down with a knife. So I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so Mr. P has diligently chopped all the vegetables. I have grated some carrots. What I like to do is I like to just give these a little pre-cook. I've got the hob on boiling. So I've done it again, I've left a bit of parchment paper on there. So I'm just going to let that warm up just a little bit and put some oil in it, and then I'm going to just soften all this veg before it goes into the mix. I'll also let it cool down a wee bit, I think, after I've cooked it, so that it doesn't shock the meat too much. I'm just using my good old trusty olive oil. Let that warm up a wee bit. Once again, I don't know whether this step is necessary, but it's something that I do. I pre-cook the veg before it goes in with the meat. I think it gives a better result at the end of the day. So I'm just going to fry up all of this, the carrots and the onions and peppers. See if that's warm enough. know that looks like a lot of veg, but I have got 6 pounds of meat, so it is a lot of meat. As I say, you can do meatloaf just simply with the meat, some porridge oats, oatmeal and the egg, and it'll make a perfectly good meatloaf. But my grandchildren like it, so I like to hide as much veg in it as I can. So I'm going to cook this down 5-10 minutes, and then we will get on with mixing the meatloaf. Okay, so the veg, the onions are translucent and the carrots are soft. You can't see that, can you? Move them out of the way. You see? So those are going to go in with the meat shortly. I'm just letting the bulk of the heat come off of them. So, 6 pounds of meat. I have got 6 eggs, and I'm just going to whisk them before I add them, only because I can't stand the feeling of egg yolks. So I'm going to give them a whisk. I'm going to salt every stage. So salt and pepper for the meat, because I have to keep in mind that there's actually 6 pounds in here of meat. So salt and pepper into the eggs. In they go. Lovely. And then I've got one of these masher dooberries that I'm just going to start incorporating that into the meat. Just like that. I mean, it's just a case of bringing it all together, really. So in here I've got 6 cups. Oh, can you hear that? Helicopter. I've got 6 cups of porridge oats. So that is going in. Just incorporate that a little bit. I should really be doing this with my hands. I think it would be much easier doing it with my hands, you know. Let's just take all that off there and I'll do it with my hands. My hands are absolutely clean. I've just given them a right good wash. So you just want to lift and turn, because you don't want to overwork the meat or it goes, I don't know what the word is, it's not pleasant, whatever it is, but it doesn't, it's just not nice. So I'm just working in the porridge and the eggs. And I'm going to add, I think I could do with a bigger bowl, but I don't normally do 6 pound. But I'm doing this as a big cook, and one of my daughters love it, the grandchildren love it, so hence I'm hiding all the veg in it. So is that, it's like when I make a pasta sauce, I hide veg in that. And then what they don't know doesn't harm them, does it? So that's incorporating in nice. I'm just going to add some of this Montreal steak seasoning. We love this. So I'm going to add a good dash of that. I'm going to add more salt. I'm using a spoon because obviously my hands have been in there. Bit of pepper, and I'm going to add in some minced garlic. A couple of spoonfuls. These are dessert spoonfuls, because as I say, I have got 6 pounds of meat in here, and then I'm just going to work all that through. Just combining it. Because at the end of the day, you want to just get a little bit of everything in every bite. This will probably make 4 or 6 meatloaves. We love meatloaf, and what I'll do is I will cook one today, oven's on, Though in the AGA60, I tend to cook this on the baking oven at 180 rather than in the roasting oven at 210. I think it just needs a slower cook. See how that's coming together lovely? And now we're just going to add in all that lovely veg. And it just elevates it just a little bit. Hide some veg in there. Kids will never know if nobody tells them. Get that down in there. Just like that. Definitely need to get one of those super duper bowls that Jamie L. Stewart has. Although I don't know that we would get one here. I suppose we could try Amazon. Got Mr. P on the case. So definitely if I'm going to do a big cook like this, I need a bigger bowl. Because as I say, we've got 6 pounds of meat, 4 of beef and 2 of pork. I like to do double beef to pork is the way I like to do it. As I say, I'm not saying this is the right way, I'm just saying this is my way. Then a cup of porridge oats per pound of meat, 1 egg per pound of meat. And actually, that combination will create a meatloaf without putting any vegetables in it, but the veg makes it go further, and you're just getting some extra veg into the kids. If you've got kids that are reluctant to eat vegetables, ours never were, I have to say, ours never were, and our grandchildren aren't actually, but I've always hidden veg in pasta sauce, anything like this, meatloaf. We're also going to make burgers with this same mix. So some of this will be meatloaf and some of it will be burgers. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take about 2 pounds of this out so that I can work that separately. And that'll be the one that I cook. We'll just bob it in where the eggs were. That's it. Can mix that through. Get all the veg in there. And then we'll be able to, those will be burgers and be frozen. Now once you've got it mixed, just like this, you want to leave it for about half an hour, just to allow it to come together and allow it to firm. Once again, not sure if that's necessary, not sure if that's the right thing to do, but that is, see, that's so much easier now. I've taken some out. So much easier to, yeah, the bowl wasn't big enough. There we go. That's combined beautifully. So what I'm just going to do is cover those up, because our kitty cat would have his nose in, given half the chance. And just leave that for about half an hour, and then we'll start forming our meatloaves. So, looks good. So we're going to give that half an hour. Okay, that's had half an hour to sit. So I've got the oven on baking, which is 180 degrees. And what I'm going to do now is just form a loaf. I'm not going to cook it in a loaf tin. I'm going to cook it on a grill so that the fat drains away. So I'm going to literally form a loaf, just like that. Because we don't like it too dry, we like it quite moist. There we go. I would say that's about good. And then I'm going to just move that, and upturn it actually, onto there. There we go. Just reshape it a little bit. And then that is going to go, can you see it? Yeah, that will go into the baking oven. I'm going to give it half an hour. I've made a little divot in the top. I'm going to give it half an hour, and then we're going to put the topping on, which I'm just going to make now. Okay, so for the topping, you need tomato ketchup, brown sugar, soft brown sugar, apricot jam, and some Dijon mustard. And this gives you a lovely topping. So we'll let that have half an hour in the oven, and then we'll put the topping on, but we'll get it measured out and get it mixed. So we're doing a cup of ketchup, see if I can get the lid off that, that'll make it easier, won't it? So we've got a cup of ketchup, in the bowl. Then we're going to have about half a dessert spoon of Dijon mustard. And then we're going to have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And a 1/4 cup of apricot jam. I know this all sounds a bit strange, but it comes up lovely. It's a lovely sort of sticky topping. I'm also going to add just a little bit of garlic to that. A little bit of the minced garlic. About a teaspoonful. And then you just combine them together. And then once again, I'll leave this to sit. Just allows it to mature another little bit. Well, that's having half an hour in the oven. And then we'll put half of this sauce on the top and save half for serving with it. So there we go. Let's just leave that to sit for half an hour. And then I'm going to move on to shaping the loaves for the freezer. And what I'm going to do different here is I'm going to get some non-stick baking foil, the non-stick one. And that is where I'm going to form the loaf. So onto that, I'm going to just top the mixture, form the loaf. Because all this meat was fresh, I'm going to put this into the freezer uncooked. It's going to go to my daughter. My daughter's uncooked, go in their freezer. And when they're ready to cook it, I will simply make up the sauce for them. And then that is that. So simple as that. Make up the loaf. And then what I shall do is I will wrap that in cling film, and then wrap it in foil again. So I'm just simply taking the mixture and forming a loaf, but I am using non-stick bake-off foil, which I find is better than the ordinary stuff. I know it's a bit more pricey, it absolutely definitely is, but I find that you get a better result with it. So I'm just forming loaves, the mixture. So that'll be one for me for the freezer and one for each of my daughters for the freezer. So I'll form 3 loaves, just like that. And these will go into the freezers. I'll freeze them here before they go to them because I like to freeze them the day that I make them. I don't like them to sit. So, last one. In fact, I might just I'll get another 2 out of that mix. So I'll make another 2 loaves. Yeah, that'll make the last one there. Just form it into a loaf shape. Now, I personally would not cook this from frozen. I would definitely defrost it before I cooked it. I would fully defrost it. So, one last one, and that's all the mix gone. So what have I got out of that? 5? That'll be 5 loaves I've got out of that. So rest of the mixture on there. One last loaf. Bit of a smaller one, but that's okay. That was lovely. Right, I'm just going to wash my hands. That's me back, nice clean hands. So next I'm going to put cling film around the parcel. You should have got Mr. P to do this, it's hilarious watching him trying to work with cling film. It's absolutely hilarious. He cannot operate cling film at all. So, nice big piece of cling film. And I'm going to wrap it the opposite way. Let's turn that way. Wrap it in the cling film. That way. And then wrap it the other way. I'm as good as him with the cling film, aren't I? So you've got a layer of foil and then 2 layers of cling film. It just helps prevent any freezer burn. And then I'm going to put a final layer of foil. And there we have meatloaf ready for the freezer. Then what I will do is I will just write on this meatloaf 180, 30 minutes, add topping, and then further 30. I'm actually going to go and put that onto label. But that's how it goes in the freezer. Bit like a little sausage parcel, all nicely wrapped up, ready for the freezer. So we'll give the one that's in the oven its 30 minutes and then we'll have a look at it. So I've just been and made some labels on my cricket with the cooking instructions on it, and I'm just going to put one on each of these just to make it easier for whoever gets them. It just says defrost, cook at 180 degrees for 30 minutes, add topping, cook for a further 30 minutes, let stand for 30 minutes and then slice and enjoy. There we go. I'm just going to put one on each and those can go in the freezer. And then whoever has them has got the cooking instructions. Neither of my girls have AGAs, or it would say put it in the baking oven, not the roasting oven. So there we go. Four meatloafs ready for the freezer, one cooking away in the oven, and when that's hard, it's 30 minutes, we'll pour on the sauce. Okay, that's had 30 minutes. Fat's drained down into the pan below. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add the sauce to the top. So it's had a bit of a stand. So I'm just going to pour about half of it over, let it run down the sides. There we go. That's going back in the oven for another 30 minutes. I've actually put another layer of cling film over the meatloafs just to protect the cooking instructions, didn't think about that. So I put another layer of cling film over them, so that just to make it easy for whoever has them. So that's going back in the oven for another 30 minutes and then we'll have a look. And there we go. One meatloaf, an hour all together in the oven, half an hour sitting. So let's just have a wee look at it and see what it looks like. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Moist, tender, lovely. And we'll probably serve that with mashed potato and peas. Very simple, but very tasty. So, such an easy thing to make. Meatloaf. So thank you very much for joining me today on Mrs. P What's for Tea, as Mrs. P makes tea. If you're watching this on TikTok, I'd love you to go over to our YouTube channel. It is in my description box. Also, if you watch this on YouTube and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would love you to subscribe and click that notification bell and look forward to many more happy big cooks. So thanks very much for joining me today.